All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. I'm not really sure how the audio is going to come out here on the YouTube video, so if it sounds shrill, my bad. For some reason, my crisp is not pulling up on my list of available microphones. So anyway, so we've got a decent week ahead of us as far as not earnings, but rather economic data. This is obviously going not to dictate what we do, but rather how we respond to certain setups. If there's no juice, then you know the deal. Are we the market? Yeah, okay. Bank holiday is tomorrow. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't even plan on trading tomorrow. I think the market's open. I would have known if it wasn't. But regardless, we don't really have anything except yapping. It is a fucking hot express line of yappuccinos basically until Thursday, where we have core retail sales, unemployment claims, Philly Fed manufacturing index, and then a whole slew of dog shit until 4 p.m. This obviously helps and probably is going to be the highlight. So Monday, bank holiday. If the banks ain't playing, yeah, is this the real Potter Stocks, the one that pets chickens? Yeah, this is me. It's Isami. Anyway, all right. So with that being said, right, how do we interpret this data? Probably not going to be trading on Monday. And again, setups are going to determine everything. But as far as taking new positions or expecting volatility, I wouldn't say so, right? Tuesday, Empire State Manufacturing Index, excuse me, nothing, right? So we don't really have, I would expect building into Thursday. That's what I think. All right, now going into earnings, which is probably the only thing that's worth taking a look at here. Let us zoom in, right? So we've got WBA, which is on Tuesday. We're in that. So a lot of empty space, pretty good setup. UNH, Citigroup, Bank of America, Johnson & Johnson, Progressive, Schwab, Goldman Sachs, PNC, State Street, all of them, Interactive Brokers, United, a lot of good ones, EPAC, ASML, Morgan Stanley, Abbott, Bancorp. So we have a lot of pretty important earnings. Alcoa, another favorite of ours. So obviously this week there will be some opportunity in that. And then towards the end of the week, we get things like Netflix, Intuitive Surgical, WD-40. So I think it should be pretty good week. Oh Lord, what are you guys talking about? Still something? Yeah, I'm still holding some snow. Yeah, okay. So that's about it, right? So we've got a lack of data and we have earnings kind of roaring into gear, which is obviously going to be the highlight here. I'll grab a pencil. What? All right. Zebo got some wild videos. Yeah, dude, Zebo's got some wild videos. Yeah, I try not to look at this page too much. It's a little scary. We're scared of Zebo. I feel like this thing keeps creeping, getting bigger. That's what she said. All right, I think we're good on that. Now, next looks good. So I want to obviously start how we usually start. And that's by obviously looking at our major ETFs. I think what we'll do is, Monday, we'll take a look at some of those earnings going into the rest of the week and we'll chart then. Obviously, we're looking at setups, but I want to talk about the Qs and I want to talk about SPY, and then we can get to whatever requests you guys have. I want to take a look at the heat map. I want to take a look at some of the setups that might be going into earnings. So if everybody's paying attention, tapping your screen, we're going to commence Z charting. So I discussed this last week, and I am standing by this analysis until I get a verified candle open. So if it's a gap up, I don't really care. But I see 1, 2, right? So highlighting 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3 days. 1, 2, 3, up at the very top without a break, without a new high, right? Outside of what we're currently trying to break. So yeah, I do think this is a possible area to pull back for 486.75. And then if that breaks, right, 478, 479, excuse me, would be the floor there. And yeah, I probably would be looking at a leg down. It would leave this box behind and we would punch back through it later, right? We do have empty space. We have a box as we move down into the 4 hour. Benjamin, what are you all talking about? Can I lower this thing a little bit? I can. This looks weird. You guys can't tell. All right, there we go. That's hot. What? All right. Very good. What time frame is this? The 4 hour. So one last thing that we're going to do here as we move down, top down analysis, right? We can see the box, right? The candle closes here, here. Look at how surgical this mother is. Box here, right? So we have our parameters. We know that on a lower time frame, force 93.75 is where the candle needs to open, right? And a candle open below 491.29, and we're moving down, right? So anyway, that being said, this could be useful to take our long if we come back down and retest only cost basis. Just gave you 520 likes. Do it again. No, I'm kidding. Thank you, man. I appreciate y'all. So that's the cues, right? And then let's do one more thing before we leave the cues. You guys can take a look at this, right? So on the weekly, and this may be where bullish, the bullish sentiment here prevails. We are still closing directly up against what was kind of obviously a weaker area. We got pulled back in, and here we're closing up against. On the weekly, there's also 2 candle closes at a very specific mark. That is 496.80. I would go ahead and personally count on that as the next obstacle if we are able to break out. This also holds the capability of being a second high, or lower high rather, but I would say as of right now, we're still looking pretty bullish. So. All right, beyond that, we have SPY, looking at that at the weekly, right? I actually was talking about this with TTI. Long-term chart, right, looks a little bit like that. There is some flare around the 630s, right? Obviously, we expect a journey there. Last week, we broke out into new highs, and we're holding them. 4 hour. We have a really nice safety zone here, right? And it's still possible that that gets a full retest, right? A 474 flat, right? We'll be getting to some charting here, taking your requests about 5 minutes here, folks, if you guys are in here with us. So moving down, I can't really see much, right? And this is where people will stop and they'll be like, well, I don't know really, 4 hour, right? Go to the 4 hour. Now we can see the box that I just drew you for you. Right now we have another area of consolidation. Why am I drawing this? I'm drawing this because this will serve as a signal for us to either retest or break down into, right? And you can see how well that lines up as we move down. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good, right? All the way down to the hourly. This makes trading easy, right? Easy. Look, box. Boom, bada, bing. Everything's available. Sorry if you're Italian. That was disrespectful. I'm not going to take it back though. All right. So anyway, right? Very mechanical, really clean, If we need to be or looking into new highs immediately, I suspect that looking at this chart here, we will, right? We left empty space on Friday. I think we do see a little yeet 477 down here in the box, maybe down to 476.21, and then we look at punching back, right? So not too bad. Like the setup. If you're long, fine. If you're short, wait for the 476 break. All right, moving on. If you have any request, I'm going to go ahead and go over shortly Snow and a couple of other plays that I have. You guys can start commenting that. Snow's target is 132.50. We already got 3 large pumps out. This trade is pretty much paid for, profits taken, but I still have November contracts and I see empty space underneath us. So I have to have a plan. Weekly, I will be trading, day trading if necessary, Snow to the downside, right? Because we have a couple of different layers, if you will, underneath 122.83 and trigger 122.50. We're going to start moving down. We have an empty space lot right here and 120.37, right? So this is kind of how I'm preparing for Snow. Now, how we pulled back is typically a great setup to start building another box. And that's, I'm not going to say my hope, but looking at the way we left that empty space, inevitably that is what will likely happen. So, all right, so I saw Celsius here. If you have requests, drop those in there. Keep dropping them though. I'm trying to pump the algorithm, not even going to lie to you. Trying to restore some faith in the algorithm. So if you guys just want to keep spamming them, spam them. I will see them as soon as I get done with the one I'm currently looking at. All right, so Celsius. Now this one did end up moving into the 50% mark of this empty space. Very rarely does this serve as a serious roadblock, but rather a place to take profit. And unfortunately, due to volume or what have you, this thing did end up punching back down, right? Now, a lot of the times what you're seeing here is what will end up creating that same range that I'm speaking about, right? Where we have a top, we have the bottom, and what you're looking at is a future area of accumulation, right? It also has the setup where we could peel back down to 3160, maybe curl up, make an inverse head and shoulders. The play is still valid. The 24 hours still is open for empty space, but unfortunately that may be what is happening now. I don't see anything happening further until obviously a low of 29 is broken. But with that empty space underneath you, I would say that's just a bounce level to watch for. Crowd, I'm going to try to move relatively quickly on these. Wow, okay, so wow, fuck, look at that. I don't even think I looked at that at the end of the day. That's pretty cool. I gave everybody a target of 322 on crowd, and that is the candle open here to our left. That is exactly what we just tapped. How did we get there? With empty space, right? By pushing up without building any structure underneath us. And so we can either expect that to happen now, or we can expect a potential retest. Now, as we move down into the lower time frame, we start to see some structure appear, right? Some hourly box here, an hourly box here, right? So trigger downside 315.50 to 310.25, right? That would give you access to the empty space and usher in a retest. Cool? As of right now, you're good. You're building your own. So with any setup like this, right, you want mechanics to play out in a sense where we see this pull back and we use the box we're currently building here to go out and make a new high. Obviously, market willing. I did say spam. Everybody spam. Spam the chat, dude. Whoever spams the most gets the requesting. And I know it's opposite day. I need the spamage, okay? Just go crazy. All right, this is like therapy. So anyway, wick to wick, right? We're touching wicks. Damn, dude. All right. What the fuck do you have? How did that guy do that? All right, I asked for this. But you know what? I need it. It's bad medicine. But I love it. Chronicles are ready. Oh. Okay. Sorry. I'm back. I'm back. I just had to dodge another BlackRock drone strike, so excuse me. Can you hear me? Mic check. Mic check. Can we hear me? Me hearing. Don't spam ain't no party like a Diddy party. That doesn't help. Spam like this is educational, or thank you, or TikTok, watch this, or FYP, I don't know. Yes, yes we can, yes we can, yes, 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 1,000 yeses. Okay, so here's the goal, pretty simple, 68.15, no video. What do you mean no video? What do you mean no video? Who, what, how? The ears can't hear you in the mic, shut up. BlackRock here, yes we hear you, very cool, all right. Scroll away and come back. All right, so anyway. Yesterday I woke up. All right, anyway, so Schwab ended up hitting that wick that we did talk about. And again, looking underneath us, it still looks fine. I mean, again, there's really no reason to question this setup. It's just let it play out. So if you're in this and you're asking me to look at it because don't be scared. Obviously, we have a couple of levels underneath us that will give us warnings, that being 66.97. If we're underneath that, all right, we might have issues. If we're underneath 66.75, we might have major issues as we're looking for a retest through that empty space underneath us. So prepare, but just look forward to obviously building, hopefully somewhere in this range. All right. Is this gazebo? Get out of here. All right. What do we got next? Keep dropping the can I look at? Yeah, I'm looking at. I just looked at Schwab. WBA. All right. So this one has earnings. Everybody paying attention. I am in Schwab or WBA already. Right? I'm not a bot. That's funny. All right. Thumbs up. Can you see the? Do you see this? Do you see this shot? Chat. Click that chat. This is a great setup. It replicates a lot of the other setups that we've taken. It's got empty space all the way to $10, right? It's got a cost basis sitting at $10.60. It's got another new high potential at $11.50. And obviously, if both of those triggers are met, right, with volatility, volume, those are going to break, and we should see, I'm looking for a move to 1365, which will be the 50% mark here, and 1486. Great setup. We love this. I'm going to make money on this. Hopefully, you can do the same. I like weekly not weekly contracts, but contracts going out at, if you are aiming all the way to 14, December, November, it's got to be the move, right? Trying to zoom in a little bit here. All right. Oh my God, you guys are going crazy in the comments. Thank you. I don't know how you spam like that, but that's pretty fire. All right. What if they go bankrupt? We're screwed. Plays over. But I see good potential on this one. All right. Just request. Drop request. Is W a request or? Ally Financial, empty space underneath, above you, right? A lot of tension directly up against this wall. Now, I hate stocks, TBH, that move like this. On the weekly, it looks a little bit more uniform, and it looks like it's giving you two targets. Oop, hot dog. Right? Target 1 would be 37, target 2 would be 38.50. That's two weekly targets. But this is also just a great big retest. Now, on retest, typically you want to see sellers step up, and it looks like they have, but they're not really doing a great job. In this range, we've got 1, 2, and 3, right? So it is very much the time for buyers to step up, do their job. Otherwise, yes, I would be looking at a move down, and it looks like this is going to end up being perfect right here. Look at this. Yatso right there. So underneath 34.50, this comes back down above 35.66. Obviously, we're looking at a first target of 37.24. You're going to have to probably use a lower time frame entry like so. Now, very, very clean. You're pulling back pretty hard, right? Which means you're leaving empty space. So the entry, I would be looking for this hourly 35.65 to break, and we're moving forward. All right. All right. Yakisoba, PSG. I love yakisoba. Let's see here. Yeah, so this one is kind of lacking a lot of volume. I spoke about this previously. It is operating very much within this channel, just like so. And that is our only obstacle here, right? You can see it's obviously great respect for it. Empty space to the upside. We love that type of setup. But when you see a channel like this, if it does end up not breaking out of it, that means you're probably going to go sideways, right, in this range. Before you see that major move up. So patience is probably going to be the biggest obstacles here. Thank you guys for tapping your screen. Appreciate you. All right, UPS. Interesting. So typically when I see something like this, right, and I can see that underneath you have this small range, cost basis is right there, right? So we bounce off of the 50% mark of this area right here, which obviously there's more underneath us, but what we're really concerned with is what is above us. Now, in these type of setups, people typically get confused because there's nothing, right? And this is why top-down analysis is so useful. So I can already see here on the 4 hour that there's a floor that we're looking to go ahead and grab onto, and that's the 134.21. It looks like Friday you were successful in doing that, which could set up for a pop all the way to 136. Looking at the hourly, right, now we can see in even greater detail how this is set up. Really nice box there, right? We also have some safeguards underneath us because there are some gaps down here, and then we also can recognize that we are building one here, so we're going to use these, right? So over or above candle 1 hour candle close 134.72, we could look for that move to retest 135.89. Cool. All right. Yeah, no problem. SMCI, guys, we're chilling here. Honestly, so wait, hold on. This is the Swiss market. Swiss market looks kind of good. All right, so I already have this one charted up, so it should be relatively quick. we are very much locked in a box. I've already discussed that this is a huge play. I will wait. Be patient. Look for protection or perfection. Both of those things are very important. But I am looking for a open above 48.50. Now, that's the long and short of it, but here's the rest, right? 4-hour time frame, we get down, we can see a clear channel. So looking at SMCI right now, and it is just kind of a tough area that we're in. We have a couple of like clear, like, all right, if we're above 49.35, I'm long, right? At the same time, because of this channel that we're operating in at the moment, right, I still see more sideways action. And if you look at the chart on the 24-hour, right, it still kind of speaks to that potential. So down here below, box. So there is a possibility. And again, we'll watch price action this week, but I could see this thing curling back down before we shoot up and out, right? And at the moment, we still have 2 off of the bottom, right? And we did have 3 here. It popped out, but still is pulled back down. And buyers haven't been able to break it, and sellers haven't been able to push it down further. So really good tension in this one, just waiting. All right, pins. Thank you guys for tapping your screen. I do really appreciate it very much. Yeah, you guys are awesome. I appreciate y'all. ASTS. Wait, hold on. I gotta do pins first. All right. Same thing, right? Channel. Respecting the channel. Touch, 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 touch. 1, 2, 3. So maybe we climb up and get to 34.60. I know there's a lot of empty space out here, right? And that's really the main setup. And I said something the other day, I think, about Pinterest. I was like, yo, this could be like a buy up, you know, maybe it gets bought out. But as of right now, if we're looking to take it long, which is why I assume you're asking me to look at this, right? It's just like the Qs, right? 1, 2. Now we did have a little box down here, right? We've already retested it. So it is absolutely imperative that we are above 34.15. And at that point, you're just watching to see how it responds to 34.50. If it breaks that mark, then I have a target for 36.12 directly up above you. And that's going to be off of this way. So. Wow. Missed that one, huh? Damn. Really good setup. Right? Really good setup. Nice empty space up above us. Hold on 1 second. All right. Yeah. So here's how I see this, right? 50% of this range is going to be 625. That's my target, right? That's what I would have as my target. And that's based off of the 50% mark. So given that there's so much empty space here, you have to assume that at least 50% of it's going to get respected. It does fill up its empty space. It has a habit of grinding to the upside. If you guys look at this, it does have its moments where it shoots straight up into resistance. But that's it. And obviously this is one that's going to be tough to get into, right? You're going to have to use something on a lower time frame. And on Friday, you pretty much had a wall at 567. If you come back down and retest that, you could possibly use it. So it looks good if you already got in, but if you haven't, I'm not really sure. All right. Rodder, I appreciate you, dude. But you can drop your request if you have one. Rod R11. CMG. So this one stretched out, got pulled right back in. I was a little bit disappointed with that, but it's still closed up against resistance. So there is still a possibility that we gap up. Again, not super happy about the pullback into the box, but as I move down, right, there are some cool. We'll just use that one right there, right? We do have a nice box, so we could be watching for a retest off of 58.27 to hopefully curl us up and out. If not, that is stop loss, right? So if you want to set an alert on that mark, I would do so. All right, so Google, and I'll tell you what, man, this setup it has some potential, right? Especially with the rejections off of 169.50. This is being recorded, yes. 169.50 is clearly where this is getting tested, right? And that's the trigger to take this up through the empty space to 176.88 and 179. At the moment, right, it's really not something that I'm looking at quite yet. It does have a lot of empty space down. It also has a level at 157, and we talked about this I think a couple of weeks ago, where we could look at and the only pattern that I recognize is the inverse head and shoulders, right? It's one of the only ones that you'll hear me talk about, because if it goes hand in hand with a good setup above it, I'll take it, right? If we have empty space, 169.75, set 177.10, and 180 or 179.50, right? Clear empty space targets. All right, I'll take it. So it still goes hand in hand with what I already do. All right, I think I'm gonna take out my headphones. Yeah, hold on 1 second. You guys still hear me? All right, cool. Yes, sir. Cool. Good shit. All right. So that's about it, man. A lot of fan noise. Yeah, let me just turn that white noise off. Oh. Look at my toes. Why is it gotta be white noise? This is the worst kind. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see here. Already did Schwab. I'm not gonna do any repeats, so it'll be on YouTube. I already did that one. MU, still waiting. Okay, so I know that a lot of you guys might have gotten in. I also talked about a potential meltdown because this empty space underneath us just seems like inevitably it's going to get filled. Earnings is a while away. I still have this fucking target all the way up here, all the way at 129.66. So when I take that again, you guys will, if you're paying attention to anything I do, you'll know anything right above 111 or 112. We'll just call it that. I'm locked in. At the moment, right, we have a 108.75 floor that has to be recovered. Once we get there, we can talk about, and I have alerts set everywhere, so we're good. Yeah, keep dropping those requests, guys. Dollar Tree 24 hour So typically when I see something like this, right, Dollar Tree loves a good lot of sideways action right here. Not really seeing too much triggers, but there is this. It might be right here. Let's look at the 4 hour really quick. Okay, we're gonna pull that up. Okay, so a little bit tough here. Not that it's just like a really hard setup, but you do have a really nice box directly up above you. You've already tapped cost basis while building another one. So everything is just really, really, really structured. You have an overhead target with no box, right? Which is probably just going to be an area to tap. And so I guess looking at this, right, I would have two triggers. So breaking down underneath 68.50, I'd be looking at 66.75 and 65.55 more importantly. Now at this point, right, this is typically that wide fluctuation in price where we start to see the potential for, you guessed it, a fucking channel. And I'm almost 1,000% sure that I'm right. Not almost, right? So as of right now, and I mean, it could be that we're at the floor now, and the way that you can go ahead and keep your wits about you is if this is above 71.30, you can start looking at taking this long. But it'd be kind of cool if we moved sideways or tipped down into this area and hit that support. So not bad, not bad. It has a really nice channel too to the downside, right? Every time frame, if you're moving any direction, you're gonna have some structure. So you can see a really beautiful channel up and down. You know what? I should probably not play music on here because they're gonna get all spicy with me. More creators want to co-host. Sarah. Not right now, Sarah. Not right now, Sarah. I don't know who you are. I don't talk to strangers. All right. All right. There we go. ASTS. I talked about this one the other day. I mean, again, it's got a lot of potential. It's sitting on a 50% mark. It's obviously kind of creeping within this channel here, and I don't always like these channels. I typically find that it comes from the floor when you have something like that, and so this would give you a little bit more of the potential to pop up into this area with a punch back over $28. If you zoom in though, it starts to kind of make a little bit more sense. So nice little area right here. You've bounced, pulled yourself back up. 1, 2, 3. So absolutely upside 26.13 if you're above that. 2, 28.05, and then I would be looking at probably looking at this setup. I would be looking at the 31.50 area. What's up, Blade? Share the live. Dude, people just want to battle me right now. I ain't about to battle, dude. I don't want to. There's like 3 people. All right. Nvidia. Did I do that one? Yeah, I did. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete everything. I played this one all the way up. Now, I bought contracts that, maybe I could have gone out a week longer because on the day of expiration, they hit my last tiny target. Now, we got out of the majority of these shorter expiration trades. We got a punch back over that 128. We hit the wall. And so it's really just kind of a terrace when it comes to, to stagger steps up to 141. But the way we responded, obviously we got that rejection. So we have to move down, right, to start to kind of like look at what are the possibilities here for price action box, right? So I think Monday, it kind of speaks for maybe like staying within the ranges that we can see right in front of us. Now it gets really interesting, right? And I could kind of like go kind of hard on this setup right now, but you got a really nice channel. You're at resistance. You're at the top. So do I see possibilities for at minimum retest? Of course. And that's obviously going to be clear below 130.75. And then again, lots of empty space. Not lot, there are lots, like little pockets right here, right? Separated by a trigger here. So we would have underneath 130.75 down to 129.71, and if 128.65 is broken, you'll dip even further, and I would assume respecting this channel. Otherwise, right, the most bullish thing to do is stay sideways, especially through a week like this. It is a nice channel. Yeah, if I've already done something, guys, I will be posting this on YouTube later. I just hope the audio isn't hot dog water. It is hot dog water. All right. What's up, y'all? What's up? With the gang outside. All right. Let's see. All right. Pretty simple, right? This is basic level 1 charting right here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Not sure if I want to count that as 3, but it does give us a valuable trigger, right? So above, look at that. God damn it, dude. I love being able to explain things and you don't have to like guess, right? Patterns guessing, EMAs guessing, right? It's just, you're just hoping that that indicator is right. This just mechanical, right? So to our left, we have a floor. We reclaimed it. This is step 1. I would assume, right, coming off of this floor, and we are gonna have to move down a little bit lower, and recovering and being above 2170, you're probably gonna go back up. And there's a good chance with the way that these waves are working out that you could definitely head up and try and go break that $25 mark, where I'm sure you've already spotted there's a empty space lot, right, inside of that box up to 3150. But looking at this, right, there's also a much bigger setup, really clear on the weekly. Check that out. So there's a lot of potential behind this play. So you would have a weekly punchback 29.30 over that 32.50 up to 35.87. Now, yeah, this is a weekly level. So I think for now, right, we can at least look at this lower time frame, 24-hour time frame setup, and just look for a break over 2175. GPN. I was right about the channel, just not the parameters. I remember drawing that, but I couldn't see it rightly. Cool. Okay, sorry. All right, GPN. Honestly, not a bad 24-hour setup. Again, all the parameters, you've got nice 1, 2, 3, Overhead resistance 101.75. A 50% mark at 105.81. A target of 108, or rather a floor, right? So I think this one's pretty straightforward. Above 101.75, 105. It actually looks like it's 105.88 and 108. So not a bad setup. Channel looks pretty good. Honestly, I might have to write that one down myself. I'll look at the contract shortly. GP in. I got a shovel in my basement. What do we got, guys? Let's go. I need to make some. I want to make a guapi this week, if available. But I'm not putting my money into anything speculative, dude. It's gotta look good. I've been on a fucking, this whole year has just been one of the best years of my life as far as money. And I did that by looking for things that just make total sense. I don't have to guess. Oh my God. Now I'm gonna tell you this. On the 24-hour, this shit makes really no sense. This is a weekly chart, right? Where I'm gonna go ahead and nope. We're gonna start from the floor. See if we can find a channel here. Looks to be that way. So there's some pros and some cons to this setup. Obviously, there's no weekly box, no weekly trigger, and as of right now, it looks like whatever this wick was here at 83 is basically holding you back again. So we could go ahead and count on that as just being what needs to break, and we can see that clearly on the 24-hour. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it's unfortunate because you have nothing above you, except, which is good and bad, because you need to get above this 84.28 area, this 83, 84 area, and that is just the most straightforward target, which is 92. But it's gonna be tough to do that without kind of like building a little bit. So I mean, as of right now, I would just say zoom in, right? You're gonna have to play this kind of like step by step. Zoom in, box yourself out, right? This thing is actually a lot better structured on the lower time frame. So let's see here. Hold on one second. One second. All right, there we go. Get out of that one. All right. Snow. INTC. I did snow already, so that one's already locked in. INTC 24-hour time frame. Gross. See, when you start looking like that, and not to say that this doesn't have structure, but here's like the and I'm seeing a channel already, right? Lower high channel. Starting to think we might see some red this week. I'm seeing a lot of setups that are bending to seller's will. Not to say that buyers can't recover that, but 4-hour time frame, yeah, 4-hour time frame as well. Let's get rid of all of this. So let's just get down to simplify this chart, right? I think the simple thing here is that you are in range, and therefore I wouldn't be interested in trading this unless that range is broken. On the other side, right, this is cost basis, and so you're pinned, right? You are kind of like in the middle. Let's see if we can pull that channel back together. So maybe you get another high, or maybe you just hit 2460. But when I look at INTC, right, on the weekly, either we're going to stay right here, or you're just going to see the volume that you need to be outside of $24. But with that being said, right, you've already tapped this floor. So if I was looking at INTC, I'd prefer to see more sideways action in this. Not a great setup for me. I would never trade something like this, but all right. I already did that one. Did Celsius already? RKLB, Rocket Labs. Weekly bounce off a cost basis again. All right. So we'll delete everything, right? I like to start fresh if I'm past that analysis. All right, 1015. I want to be above 1015 on Rocket Labs. Again, here's the bigger picture. This is a floor that you are trying to recover. Like, that is actively what is happening. You are trying to hang on to this 950, 960 level. And so the longer you're able to do that without sellers kind of picking or pushing price back and causing you to lose these lower time frame floors. And that's exactly what is so nice about a setup like this, is there's not a ton of guesswork. That floor, or 875 lost, and this thing dumps to 770. That's pretty easy. So thank you guys for tapping your screen. I appreciate you guys a lot. What are my thoughts on Fibonacci's? I've been noticing they line up with your boxes on floors. Yes, so the one cool thing about that is if you're dealing with something that uses the 50% mark, or if I'm the imbalances, those are naturally going to line up. Now I don't add those, right, because I feel like I'm ahead of Fibonacci, because when I lay those, it doesn't give me the clarity that I need. If I'm moving into all-time highs, then Fibonacci all the way. So that I think is where, like, I need that most recent price action, and I can see utilizing those boxes, right, the potential behind that play, whereas I'm just getting levels from Fibonacci. So it's not my favorite. All right, I did Dell, Sim, Hum, and SMCI. I did SMCI as well. I can do Hum. Now this one was really funny, y'all, because literally somebody asked me about it, or said that they were getting in it. We talked about this one. This was that inverse head and shoulders setup. Nice box here, empty space up above. And the reason why, this is just a perfect setup and an explanation for why we A, hold things to our fucking targets, but B, why we highlight and target this shit that looks like this, right? So in the grand scheme of things, from here to here, this is also the 50% mark. So 3160 must be recovered. If you're looking for a target beyond that, right, it's going to be, I'm going to go ahead and give it that whole thing, but it's going to be 3586. And that's going to be obviously with a recovery of the 3150 floor. Pretty simple. Now the way you ripped, right, could have just gassed you out before you had the capability to do that. But hopefully that momentum stays, and if it does, 36, 35, 80. Pretty good chart there. 1 second. All right. I already did snow. AZN 24-hour time frame. All right, so you are stuck between a rock and a hard place. It is short under 75.50, right? Where you would have access to a massive amount of empty space, all the way down to like 69, right? And it looks like the more I look at this, the more I see that channel, right? So either this wide, look, that big rip down, right? Either this is A, where you're going to build like something like this, right? Where you'll probably have a lower high, and this will start to break down that way. Or, right, if this is off of news or just has that rolling momentum still, then this is definitely something that can continue to break down. But the fact that you hit your floor and you boxed up, to me, means that there's a little bit more time before this breaks down. But ultimately, I think even if you're looking at the 24-hour, it is very clear. 74.63 is the floor bounce underneath you. So be sure that you keep that in mind if you are short. I did Celsius already. SQ. This one actually did pretty well. 24-hour, you came back down, you retested the floor, and bounced right back up to what I'm hoping to see as a box. Now, if you look right here on the 4-hour, right, you can see yourself again holding up, as well as a box forming. Now, as we move down into the 2-hour, that box is going to expand, and it shows right now that above 70.10, that's where we're looking for a leg up. And again, when you're in a box, right, the most you can expect out of this is to stay in that box. But looking at the 24-hour, the goal and the target of above us is a very clear 73.65. And that's what I'd be looking for on a new high. So I think there's a couple of key points here, just really small ones. One, this is what you're avoiding breaking down below. That's 1175. What you're holding yourself up on, rather, right? 4-hour, holding yourself up. We also have a box down here, which is doing its job, right, and keeping us up. It's basically like our reservoir for buyers. So we're dipping back into that to hold that floor. So again, 1194, or excuse me, 1195. And then, I mean, I hate when I say this, but it's like you just need to be above 1218. And obviously that's just a straightforward break. But when I see something like this, I immediately think, well, there's at least probably going to be something, you know, resembling this before we can get that new high. But there is nothing but empty space all the way to 1290. So I like it a lot. Top viewers. Jorge in here, don't even comment. That's crazy. Appreciate you guys. Upturn Philly, Taryn, Alex, Daniel, Steph. Everybody in here has been watching the whole stream. Appreciate y'all. There's a lot. All right, BA. Curious setup. Curious George. Right. Here's the 4-hour. Now, talk about a fucking, you pulled back, you hit the floor, you pulled yourself back up, right? And then what's above you is really intriguing. You've got the box, and cost basis is right around or in that gap, right? Now, this isn't my favorite setup in the whole world, and definitely not something I'm like clawing out to get, but above 151, there is a good target. If we're just looking at the most recent price action, the target is A, 154.56, and if 155.50 is broken, we have a good chance to try and go break out. Right? Now, the unfortunate thing is this is staggered, right? So you have a box here. Look at cost basis, 154.40, beautiful. Then look over here to your left, same thing. Look at that, right? So you've got stacks. Now this is what, if the volatility is right? If you, and right now it ain't, but if we get a strong push, which inevitably at some point your short volume is going to rise, and this thing is going to squeeze every once in a while, so this could be a setup to do so. But where we would punch through, right, and both of these hopefully would trigger off of each other, and yeah, you could go up and fill some of the empty space. Again, it's not, this isn't something that I think up to that gap looks really good, and I'd leave some renders to see what the potential is, but at the most I see 170 here. So, are you saying Asa? Or are you just saying what's up? I don't know. I'm into LW, obviously. This one I expect is probably got more sideways action. You are up at the top for the second time here at the floor. So even a retest of 69.13 or 69.15 would not be a bad thing. But we still have lots of empty space up above us. We hit the 50% mark, so we're just holding. We're just waiting. I wish I had more to offer, but it's, I mean, it's pretty straightforward right now. You know, we're just holding. We're okay maybe with a little pullback, but it's given us some opportunities to trim. It's been pretty nice. What the fuck? All right. All right, brother. So I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell everybody else. There's one area where, yeah, you could go ahead and use Fibonacci. I cannot help. All I can tell you is what's underneath, right? If you're in all-time highs, right, and this is, yeah, if you're in all-time highs, that's all you. I don't take trades breaking into all-time highs, and that's him going like really long, or taking something from TCI. But yeah, I'm not. Oh god. I mean, psychological number like 120 would be the first immediate target up above us. So, all right. Yeah, IMAX. Oops, IMAX Corporation. This is gonna be why. I mean, in terms of my setups and stuff like that, you know, not my favorite thing in the whole world. So cost basis is still bearing fruit, 22.41, and then obviously up to 26, and try to fill that empty space to 30.77 if that's what you're looking for. It does appear like there could be a massive channel that looks something like this. So I mean, if that's, you know, helpful, but personally, you know, speaking, you need to be above 22.50. I'm not going to add my opinion on that. You know, if you think it looks good, do it. Neo. I'm probably going to go live here later on tonight too as well, folks. So, I still think that NEO is going to bounce. It is hitting cost basis right now. I think that we fill this gap probably, yeah, up to 680 at minimum. But I think there's a channel that's going to form. So maybe we sit sideways a little bit longer, but it's under 587. So, pack B, what the fuck is that? I mean, so on something like this, there are some very clear things like 217 open, and I'm looking. I mean, I wouldn't be even looking at this wick over here. But my only goal in order to be profitable on this would be 320. So, interesting. TSM 24 hours says you're about to go hit 193.37 and attempt for a break probably into the 200s. I'd be looking at $200. All right. BMRN. Charted this one before. I think this one's really simple. Obviously, I'm not a pharmaceutical freak. It's not my favorite thing in the whole world, but we would have. I'm not really sure I'm in love with that, but I would go ahead and do something like this. So here's what I see, right? Outside of $72, there's a floor here at 73.60, 73.65. That needs to be recovered, right? So point A to point B. Now, obviously, with that recovery, that opens up the possibility that you go up and obviously fill the empty space up to $80. And, when I look out further on this thing, I'm sure one day something is going to happen that might be pretty exciting. But as of right now, it looks pretty gross. Yeah, 73.41. So I don't know, guys. Yeah, not my favorite. Kind of makes me soft. All right. Anyway, Tesla looks terrible. Fucked. All right, moving on. Astro. I feel like we need to put candles on the floor, draw like a Rivian logo, put salt around it, light candles, and lay, maybe even somehow secure a drop of Elon's blood and lay Astro in the middle of it and just exercise whatever demon he got from that Tesla store. You know what my favorite thing though is about this right now is he can't defend himself. Feel kind of like Israel, right? No, sorry, too soon. All right. Anyway, it ruined my life. Oh my god. Don't forget the crystals. Yeah, I don't know. Sage, you name it. Holy water. Whatever. Just maybe a drop of whatever holy liquids come from all religions. Rhino horn. All right, so on the weekly time frame, right? Obviously, that event didn't go very well. I swung a few Tesla puts, and the percentage gain on those was not crazy because of IV. Now, I think what makes sense here is on the 24-hour. You are at the floor. In my eyes, because if this breaks, you go to the floor, right? And I only have, there's stacked triggers, but I only have another 197.47, and then at that point, again, one last one right here, it'd be 180.175. So you kind of have staggered price targets. That's where you could probably see Fibonacci in it, but At that point, we would just quite simply be aiming all the way to 141, right? But we need to start seeing that snowball effect. So as of right now, you know, I think there is still, because of the sentiment dropping. Now, don't get me wrong, right? Don't get me wrong. I mean, yeah, the robots was a scam. That whole thing was like kind of like whack, you know, but whatever. At the end of the day, right? Money, sales, are we still making money? So if there was anywhere that this was going to bounce, I think this could be an area to even go sideways, curl, if we're trying to be bullish here, right? And then, what the fuck was that? See, that's where people send me invites and it like automatically connects. So, I mean, interesting. Oh, shit. Yeah, we got it. $208. What the hell is that? $208, bro? I mean, I see a floor there. That's the top of a box, but maybe. All right. I think we're good to go here. We'll look at a couple of other stocks here, and then we'll go ahead and reel it in. Maybe not wrap it in. We'll go ahead and reel it in. Why are you making me do this? Is this ouster like the fucking appliance? Freaking appliances. Weekly cost basis bouncing at around cost basis, so you do have a lot of empty space up above you. You did have a break outside of that range. It is not the most beautiful chart I've ever seen in my life, but it does have the structure. So I'd be looking at $7.50 and a break over $8 to go and axe $8 trigger to go fill that empty space. And yeah, you will have to watch for that floor at 9:35 and 10:25. Trimble is at a 24-hour cost basis. All right, I'm not turning your music high, dude. What the fuck? So annoying, dude. I don't like that. Too wide. Too ugly. I'd look at it at $70. If you can break past this, I mean, you do have the setup to do it, but if you are broken above a cost basis here at 63.20, I personally would be aiming for 66.85 and yeah, $70. AL. Oh, I did that one, or I've done that one. Yeah, I did this one earlier. It's on. It'll be on YouTube. $20, and it looks like it's gonna bounce and try to go and fill that empty space. Maybe even give you a a double triggered play, but it has an interesting setup and it's at the floor. So yeah, check that one out on YouTube. All right, guys. I've already done Schwab, done all those. I hope you guys were able to pull some value out of this. I will try to go live a little bit later. I think I looked at VST, didn't I? Oh. Oh, sorry. VST is bouncing off a 24-hour cost basis. I don't remember if I did this one. It is bouncing off a 24-hour cost basis, 4-hour up here. Get rid of that channel. Right now you're looking for a break over 127 and into 130.15, where I think you would just go straight up to that top at 140. So I think FedEx is building a channel like this, and I think we should be on watch for this box here to pop. We did go, however, fill that empty space right there, so it's not like we required, but I think what's really stands out is this, and so there's definitely a potential to, at minimum, right, go and test 180 or 280. So this one should get an alert set on the very top right here at 267, and we'll leave it there. OKTA hit the 4-hour. It looks like it might be heading for a retest. You have a floor right here, green candle close, and it kind of refused to go and grab onto that. Now, it's not a beautiful box, but it is technically a range. So you need to be above that 78.50, and you're looking for a retest off of 76.75, and at worst 76.35. All right, guys. I shall see you later. Have a good day. Talk to you soon. Or see you tonight. Peace.